All right, hello everyone. This weekend there was a Zendikar Championship. Is that the right name? I think so. And one of my countrymen, so we actually never talked to each other before. At least I think so. Is that right, Thomas?
Yeah, I don't think we ever talked before, but I was following you when we were still on your high streak in Top Magic, so I know who you are, and hopefully now you also know who I am.
Yeah. So nice to meet you. It was awesome. I actually didn't know that you were part of the tournament right before it, but someone told me about it, and then seeing you do really well was awesome. How did you even qualify for the tournament? It was like a very specific way to qualify. Can you maybe like talk about that?
Yeah, so as I already mentioned, and as I think it was also mentioned on the official coverage, it was through the Czech and Slovak League, which was hosted by one of the bigger stores in the Czech Republic, Černý. And what they did was a kind of a year-long league, which anybody could join free of charge. There was no entry fee, and basically it was split into multiple splits, and then each of the split has a small grand final, and then from each of the split there were 4 players which qualify for the grand final. So there were 4 splits or 3 splits and a final call, and then at the end there were 16 players, and those players got into the grand final. And then basically in the grand final we were playing for some cash, some prizes, but also for the invite to the PT. So
That's
so
awesome.
I was qualified through one of those splits, and then I won the whole thing in I think in August. So basically, I think I was one of the first ones to qualify outside of like MPL members and so on, because I already qualified in like August.
That's awesome. Was the tournament always standard, or was it like also historic, or?
Yeah, the tournament was only standard, which I think historic has kind of started picking up steam only in like the couple last months. So I think when it started like in February, it wasn't really that big part of like a big fixture of the even pro tournament. So it wasn't really big back then. But like I was just talking yesterday about maybe a potential season 2 with Uppy, and we're talking about, yeah, if there's a chance maybe they can do multiple formats. That would be really cool. I think I would also support something like that, because then I guess that's more interesting for the players, but also like test maybe your skills a bit more than if you're just playing one format.
Yeah. So we're gonna get more into the tournament later, but since you're kind of a new player, at least at the pro scene, most people don't know you, including myself. Can you like tell us something about you? Maybe not like just Magic, just like things in general, what you're doing, when did you get into Magic, and anything you want to say basically.
All right, so I'll start with my name. My name is Tomáš Pokorný. I'm from the Czech Republic, as you already heard. I'm from the north, from a city called Teplice, which is a kind of smaller city with 50,000 people. And basically, I think it was something like maybe 12, 13 years ago, I moved to Prague for the university studies. I was studying economics and management.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of my path. For I think I spent there like 6 years. I took an extra year because I was also abroad for half year working in the US in Colorado. So
Oh, that's awesome.
um, so that's why I took a little bit extra time. I wasn't really rushing anywhere. So yeah, I think I spent like 6 years in the uni, and then basically after I finished, I was really interested in logistics already in the when I was studying at the university. So then when I finished, I was kind of looking maybe for something in logistics, and I found a really cool company which is working in beer logistics.
Mm-hmm.
AB InBev, basically making like all the biggest brands like Stella Artois, or from the American ones, Budweiser. So it's a really big company, and I'm working there currently in like a logistics role. So it's something really I like. I like beer, and I also like logistics. So it's a really good kind of a mixture of those two.
It's hard to find
And
someone
outside of,
from
sorry,
Czech
go
who
ahead.
doesn't like beer. Yeah, I was just joking that it's hard to find someone who's
Yeah,
from Czech who doesn't like beer.
yeah, we do have really good beer, so it kind of can lead into that for sure.
So how about Magic? When did you start playing?
So I think the first time that I like saw a Magic card was like in 2002. I think it was Onslaught was the new set, so that's when I remember it was really cool to sell with like a lot of elves and other tribal synergies. So that was something that was tempting for me because I like the elves mechanics and it's really cool to play. But back then we were just kind of playing for fun with friends at school, so it wasn't really anything. I wasn't really going to GPs or anything. I was just kind of playing for fun between the lessons. So that was just kind of something to have fun. And basically after that, I wasn't really following Magic for a long time until like my last years at the uni, where well, actually not, because I think I got back into Magic like in 2013. So actually was like in like my freshman year probably at the uni. But like that back then, I discovered there was a game on Steam which was called Duels of the Planeswalkers, which is something similar to what is Arena right now, kind of very similar client, much more closer to Arena, for example, than MTGO. So it was kind of this very similar client, but it's only like usually with cards from the core set. So there was like Magic 13, 14, 15, right? And then I think that was kind of the precursor to where right now is Arena. So once they kind of discontinued this this line of products, they kind of went with Arena. And I really like that from the get-go because it was like kind of nice and smooth, experience playing cards. And I liked it much more than MTGO. So it was something that I got into, I think, early in the beta, even before it was like open to public. And for me, like that was the beginning of my like getting a bit more competitive because they started to have these like bigger events in Arena.
Are you also
that you
playing
could
like
just join.
the qualifiers? Like when you hit top 1000, 1200, and in Mythic you get to play the qualifier. Are you also playing in those?
I was, but only like in the recent months. I wasn't really playing it from the start because I didn't really, it wasn't really clear to me how like the organized play system was designed, and I think that's a lot of people weren't really clear on that. So it wasn't really clear for me that if I can like make the top 1200 and then do well in this, but then you have to like do well in multiple ones and like collect points. I didn't really know how it works, so I didn't really get into that. But basically, once I like joined the Czech League, which was I think like in early February this year, then I kind of started being more interested in like the competitive side and was looking at these different like tournaments which were getting held on Arena and so on. And I think since like I'm not sure it was my first time which I really went for Mythic. I think maybe in like June or something. And since then, like I've been consistently getting Mythic. But yeah, I don't think that's a big big achievement. But yeah, that was kind of a thing that which I was kind of looking into, like maybe try to get into the Mythic, and then I saw, okay, that's not too difficult. So I was trying to kind of play all these different tournaments, like from SCG and so on.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's basically until like I won the Czech League. I wasn't really qualified for any big tournament, but that was really kind of my good luck, my breakthrough, where I won that and I was qualified to. Initially, we were looking into the Mythic Invitational. That was supposed to be the reward, which was held in September, but because like the whole season was changing up so much because of COVID, then it was actually changed in the end for the PT invite. And yeah, I guess that worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well. So let's talk about the tournament a little bit more. You knew that you were qualified since August, is that right?
Well, not exactly since August, because in August I was still thinking I'm gonna be part of the
Oh, I see.
Mythic
Yeah,
Invitational, which was in September. So let's say like from like mid September, I knew that I was qualified. Yeah.
So anyway, you knew you were qualified, but like you don't really know like any of the pros, right? Like what was going through your head? Like obviously for a tournament like this, you definitely want to like practice with other people and stuff. So like how did you approach that? Did you just like maybe talk to some people on the Czech scene to give you contacts, or how did it work out?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story because basically, I think I'm not sure exactly when, but earlier this year, let's say like in April or something, I joined like an MPG program called Mastermind, hosted by Travis Wu, and through that I met Simon Nielsen, and because he was like the only like European pro on the team there, I kind of got more in contact with him. I was kind of joining his calls and we were chatting even between and so on. So kind of he kind of became my mentor, you could say maybe, and we were kind of chatting and so on. And basically, the first thing kind of I did when I qualified for the PT, when I knew I was qualified for the PT, was like writing to Simon, can I please test with you? Because, I know this he's a great player, and I was looking for some group of people that were more experienced than me to kind of pick their brains, and, they already know how to prepare for these tournaments. So I really wanted to kind of get into touch with some of these people. And at the beginning they already had a kind of a team set up, so it wasn't really looking good. But at the end, like part of the team kind of broke off the team and went to something, went to test with Austin, and then there were like 3 free slots for people to join, and I was invited, and it was super good because there was also a lot of great players on the team, and they helped me a lot. I do owe them a big part of eventually making the top 8.
How seriously did you take the tournament? Because from what I understood, you have a full-time job. You probably have like other obligations,
Hmm.
stuff like that. So I basically just want to know like how much time did you dedicate to actual testing? Like was it just a couple of hours after work, or were you like really serious? Can you maybe talk about
Um,
that?
yeah, basically, I think like 2 or 3 weeks prior to the tournament, I already started like taking a couple of days off each week to kind of focus more on Magic. So I think in the end, I took like 5 or 6 days off from work before like the deck submission, and then I got like 3 extra days before the tournament. So I put as much work into it as I could. Obviously, like even on the weekends, I was always playing like the CGs and so on, trying to get in more reps with my decks and more kind of knowledge about standard and historic when it was at. So I was trying to like grind these tournaments and then talk with my testing teammates and see where their testing was at and so on. So basically, yeah, I think like you could say like at least full like 10-14 days kind of dedicated to testing before the submission of the deck list, and then between the submission and the tournament there was like extra like 5-6 days. So I was just testing my decks then and trying to see, we or obviously already had like cyber plans, but we're just trying to see exactly what situation you can find yourselves in and so on. So just spend the last 6 days also just practicing with my decks, because until like the submission I wasn't really like 100% on any deck. I was kind of testing multiple ones, but then once we had to submit already on Sunday, then I had like 5 days to really look into my decks and try to find as much experience with them and try to find myself in those spots where I could be in the PT.
That's
So
awesome.
that's what's how I prepare.
How was the experience playing against like the best players in the world? Because I can imagine that like obviously if you hit like a higher mythic ranks and stuff, the players tend to be pretty good, but
Hmm.
it's still probably different. Like maybe they do certain things different in certain situations, or they just like have this sideboard plan that you are not used to. Like was it different from playing on arena or?
It was definitely different. I was already quite respectful of the whole field when I was coming in. I knew that it was like basically like a third or almost a half of it was people from the pro leagues, right?
Yeah.
From the rivals and MPL, and then the rest were not pros but qualified through like quite rigorous like those arena qualifiers and so on. So basically everybody who was qualified was a really good player. So even a notch above like the mythic players and so on. So I was already quite respectful like of the metagame or of the people who were going to play in the tournament. So that was something that I was kind of trying to have respect for and don't underestimate anybody. Actually, like in the months leading to the PT, I did play a lot of those like SCG tournaments where I actually met a lot of or played against a lot of the pros that I actually faced in the PT. So that I guess that helped me a little bit like to prepare for how these people play and to really expect that they were going to be making mistakes, and just I have to play at my best to have a chance against them. So that was something that I kind of had in my mindset, like just try to play our best. But I think, yeah, in the end I wasn't trying to stress too much about it because I knew like that wasn't going to help. So I was just kind of focusing on like each round, round by round. I wasn't really looking too much ahead because I started quite well. I think I went like 5-0, and then I lost one match, and then I won one more. So I finished like 6-1 for day one. But I wasn't really like looking into like, okay, I need to like win 3 more matches to get into day two, or I need to win like 5 more matches to get into top 8, because like that doesn't really help and it just stresses you more. So I was just kind of focusing always on the round, check out their deck lists, see what exact 75 they're playing, or I guess 95 if they're playing Orion, right? So just looking at their lists and trying to see how to best play, and then during the match itself, just to try focus on all the plays, don't make too many mistakes. I wasn't really like thinking that I would make no mistakes, right? But I was just thinking, okay, maybe let's just limit the amount of mistakes that I can do, and then have enough time to finish the matches, and just keep humble and keep your head in it. So that was kind of my approach, my mindset, kind of going into day one. And day one, actually coming into day one was quite, I wasn't really stressful because, it was my first PT. I wasn't really expecting any result. I knew that the average opponent would be better than me. So I was like, okay, just play my best Magic and we'll see where we get. Maybe I can get into day two if I get lucky. But then actually for day two, it was a bit more stressful because I already started 6-1. So then, you start to think, okay, you have a good start. So maybe, you can make something out of this. So don't fail now. But I was still trying to suppress that feeling, but it was much stronger than on day one because you already had some results. So didn't want to go day one to waste. But basically, when I was approaching the final rounds already, I think on the 14th round, which was one round to go, my teammates were already saying to me, okay, you're locked for PT, you have really good breakers and stuff. But then I actually ended up losing the last round to Brett Barkley, who actually won the whole thing. So then I was like, okay, I wasn't really feeling that I was gonna be in the top 8. I was like, okay, this was my win and in, so I was kind of down. But then my teammates were still supporting me. I'd say okay, you're gonna get there. You have good breakers, right? And then when they announced it, I think I had the best breakers of all the 11 fours. So I think I made the top 8 on the 5th place. So that was really surprising to me because I wasn't really trying to look too much ahead. So it was really good surprise. And already I think at 10-5 you're qualified for the next PT. So that already for me that was a huge achievement to already have a look up the next PT. And then getting the news that I get to play for more money and for the title eventually, even that was just a great news and was super exciting.
That's awesome. I want to talk a little bit about history. You played 4-color Sultai, right? Is that right?
Yep, 4-color Sultai.
Yeah. So I think one of the more interesting things about Sultai is that you can either play straight Sultai or you can splash for Yasharn. There are also people who maybe splash for Mythos or Teferi, but it's mainly Yasharn, right? So for example, Nassib, he plays straight Sultai. Then I think most of the people ended up on 4-color with Yasharn main deck, but your specific deck list actually played Yasharn in the board. Is that right?
Yeah, we ended up playing Yasharn in the board. I have to actually give credits to for the deck list to Daniel, one of my teammates, who came up with the list. We were all kind of helping in the testing, but actually in the end I just went with his 75. It was looking really good. And up till then I was still thinking about about goblins and about auras and stuff, but in the end I was like, okay, this is the closest to where I feel comfortable with the Sultai deck. And actually, funny story is it was the deck which I qualified for with the PT, right? Because it was 3 months before, and then back then in standard you could play Uro, you could play Nissa, right? So it was the deck which I qualified for the PT with. So then when I was kind of considering all these archetypes, I was like, okay, Sultai I've already played, so I have some experience, so maybe that's gonna be the best to go with. And in the end I went with that. And as you were saying, we had basically clean Sultai main deck, and then we had I think 6 cards in the white in the sideboard, and we had an extra planes in the sideboard as well to support the white cards.
Oh, you didn't play planes main deck?
No, we had extra planes in the side, and we were discussing that, but eventually they never convinced us to have it on the side, just to have a cleaner mana base in the main deck.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wanted to ask about that, but I think I just look at the decklist wrongly, or maybe it was someone else's decklist, so I apologize about that. So now that you top 4 the Pro Tour, you won a bunch of money, people know about you now, you're qualified for the next PT. Are you planning to take Magic more seriously now, or is it still just gonna be like a side hustle, maybe a hobby, and you will see where it goes? Or are you gonna try really hard? How are you gonna approach it from now on?
I definitely will try to take it, or I'm planning to take it more seriously, to try to, definitely now that I know that I'm locked for the next PT, I'm gonna definitely spend a lot of time leading to that one to again try to do well. I don't have any illusions that I'm gonna top 8 every PT. That's just unreasonable to have. But if I can again make day 2 or something, that's gonna be nice. And if not, you can't really win every PT, right? So just taking part and trying your best is gonna be my goal. But definitely trying to take it a bit more seriously now. I also am qualified for the Challenger Gauntlet, which is really exciting. At the end of the whole season, basically after the next 2 Pro Tours.
Yeah.
There planned to be a gauntlet for all the challengers. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's 24 people. I think it's supposed to be 8 from each one. So then 24 people should be battling for. I think top 4 goes to MPL. Then the next 8 goes to like some rivals gauntlet for a chance to join rivals, and then the rest will probably get some invite for the next season. But you already have like basically half the field have a chance to qualify for one of these pro leagues, which is super exciting. So that's something that I'm trying. I'm not trying to think too much ahead, but like that would be something that would really enable me to kind of devote myself more to Magic, like professionally. So that would be a great opportunity. But even if I don't, I'm intending maybe to try start streaming a bit more. So that's something that I'm trying to look,
Is that
because I
going to
always
be in English or in Czech?
um I'm definitely gonna be starting in English, but then if I see that there's like an audience for a Czech stream, I'll also consider that. But yeah, I think in English would be my default, but maybe I would even do like a split, sometimes in Czech, sometimes in English, because I'm not quite sure if there's enough of an audience for a Czech stream. But if there is, I'll be happy
There's
to do it.
definitely less people, but at the same time, no one is really streaming in Czech, so maybe it has a chance. Not really sure, but
It could be a good idea. It's just I'm not as experienced in talking about Magic in Czech, because I've always just been talking with people abroad in my teams, and so on, and I'm just used to read the cards in English and everything. So talking about Magic in Czech is a bit weird for me, but maybe I'll have to get used to that. But definitely my default would be to go with English, and then see if there's some Czech people following me and that would prefer a Czech stream, I would also give that a go. I just kind of like the whole kind of concept of just like talking about my plays and interacting with chat. So I think that that's definitely something that I will give a shot to.
awesome. I think we've touched pretty much everything that I really wanted to talk about, like the most important points. But maybe there's still something that you would like to mention, or if there's like anything you wanna say or talk about, now is your chance.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank like basically everybody who helped me get me where I'm at now. So started with like the Czech league was set up with Chernerky, so that was a great opportunity to give to the Czech and Slovak players, and hopefully there will be a season 2 coming up, but we don't know yet. So that was a great kind of stepping stone, and I'm really glad that I took part of it, because if I didn't do that decision in January to try this new league, which nobody really knew how it's gonna look like and it was gonna be the outcome, then if I didn't decide to do this, then I wouldn't be sitting here and talking to you. So that was a really good decision on my part, and really glad that they hosted that series. And then, yeah, I have to give a huge thank you to everybody on my testing team. I already mentioned Daniel, I already mentioned Simon Nielsen, who was part of the testing team, Christoph Prince, was Tristan, and so many more players. Can't really name all of them, but I do owe everybody, every single one of them, a huge thank you and a huge shout out, because basically what I registered for Standard, we didn't really talk much about Standard, but I registered the green food there, and there was kind of a community deck. Everybody on the team, I think, picked that one up. And until like the last day before submission, I was high on Teamer and wanted to go with Teamer, and it wouldn't be a good choice for the speedy. So really glad that I went with the team and went for green food. And yeah, outside of the team, it was just really great fun to have a chance to take part in this PT. Everybody was super great on the admins team, so it was really nice, even for somebody kind of like me playing in their first pro tour. Everything was super clear, and no issues during the tournament. I was kind of worried a little bit about maybe disconnects and stuff like that during the tournament, because you can't really control that if you're playing online, but hopefully or thankfully nothing like that happened. So all around a great experience.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Tomáš, for taking your time. I hope we will see each other soon and maybe some tournament. Hopefully, Corona goes away, but I wish you the best in the future. Thanks for
Thank you
having
for
me.
having me, Peter.
Yeah.
Have a nice afternoon. Bye
See ya.
bye.
Bye bye.